Alright, let's get into this. This amazing story. Alright, so I believe previously we just got back from the cave. We got the ingredients for the potion, and I'm waiting to receive word.
Good run today, Aaliyah. We should party again tomorrow.
Those words were pretty good for a simple dungeon run.
Definitely. If only quests like that would turn up every day.
I slammed my drink down, feeling the alcohol burn my throat as it trickles its way down to my stomach. You know what? Drink's on me tonight. I'm feeling rich after that quest reward. Averia barks out a laugh at my declaration before letting out a cheer, immediately heading to the counter to order more drinks.
Someone's feeling generous tonight. Do I get free drinks too?
Lyle slides into the seat where Averia was just occupying, and I grin at them, shouting a greeting. Lyle, there you are. I've been wondering where you've disappeared to.
Just been around and about.
My fur brows at Lyle's vague answer and shifty eyes. This again? Right. What was up with you this morning? This morning? Did you forget already? At Lyle's blank look, I roll my eyes before explaining. You stopped me when I was on my way to the guild hall and started scolding me for not replying to your messages because I'm busy with exams. Something weird like that before you rushed off without a word. What messages? What exams? I'm not a scholar. You know that. Were you drunk or something?
What did you just say?
What?
What did you just say, Aaliyah? Can you please repeat what you just told me?
There's a strange, sudden stillness to Lyle's body, as though all their muscles are tensed in preparation for battle. Lyle repeats their question, their voice growing more and more urgent. Confused, I do as they requested, watching as Lyle's eyes widen before they try to school their face into a composed mark. Lyle, what's going on?
No, it's nothing. I just misheard you. That's all.
Narrowing my eyes, I fixate the most intimidating glare I can manage on Lyle. It's nothing. You wouldn't have reacted like that to nothing. I think you owe me an explanation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They look away, but not before I can see the telling glint in their eyes. Lyle's lying, for sure. Lyle. Lyle stays quiet, their gaze lowered. The silence drags on, the tension so palpable that it's almost smothering. My frustration continues to grow, and it takes a great deal of effort for me to swallow my angry words, knowing it'd do nothing but make the situation worse.
Am I interrupting?
I glare at Lyle for a beat longer before lifting my gaze to greet Kylan. No, it's nothing. Just having a little chat with my best friend. Kylan raises an eyebrow at my icy tone, but he doesn't comment and just takes the seat next to mine. I heard that you're giving free drinks tonight. You don't mind me taking you up on that offer, do you? Kylan flashes me a sunny smile, and I chortle, shaking my head at him. Hey, I didn't offer you free drinks, just a Varia. Ouch! Are we not comrades too? Nope. We only fought together once or twice. You don't deserve that title yet. Kylan bursts out laughing, shooting me a mock-wounded look. Ha! Then never mind. I suppose I won't tell you about my research progress then. All humor immediately drains away, and I lean forward, eager to hear Kylan's report. What is it? Did you find anything? Kylan shakes his head, an apologetic look on his face, then digs out a small bottle and slides it over to me. What's this? You finished the potion? Yes. Yes, drink it. A flash of humor crosses his face, and he winks. I promise it's not going to kill you. Will it cure the problem? No, unfortunately not. At best, this will just lessen the frequency of your symptoms. I swirl the clear liquid in the bottle around, slightly hesitant to drink some unknown potion.
Alaya, let me drink it. If it works, tell him to make you another.
Lyle holds out their hand with an anxious glance at the bottle. Kylan lets out a sigh, a small cowl on his face. Do you really think I'd poison her? Lyle doesn't speak, merely pressing their lips together tightly and gesturing for me to give them the potion. Damn. Oh, now Lyle wants to act like my best friend, who has my best interests at heart? Shooting a defiant glance at Lyle, I pluck the stopper of the bottle and down it in one go. I had been expecting the potion to taste as sickening as some of the medicine I'd been forced to take by the medics after a battle. But to my surprise, the liquid is completely tasteless and rolls down my throat easily.
Damn it! Why would...
The rest of Lyle's words are drowned out by a sudden loud voice rising above the chatter in the guild hall, and we all whirl around to see a disheveled hunter leaning against the open doors, desperately yelling a warning.
They're coming! Corrupted creatures! A lot of them, heading to us from the south!
A hush falls over the moment. Before chaos ensues, everyone scrambling for their weapons and screaming out instructions to their party members. Lyle and I are instantly on our feet, and I turn to Lyle and Kylan grimly. We need to go. You two with me? It was mostly a meaningless question, as Lyle had always been my partner in crises like this, while I doubt Kylan would sit this battle out despite being retired. Yet to my utmost surprise, Lyle shakes their head, a troubled look on their face.
You go ahead without me. I'm going to try to get more backup soldiers and supplies.
Annoyance flares up within me, and I cross my arms in anger. Seriously? You should be with me on the front lines, like we always are. Lyle looks pained, but they only give me an apologetic, almost helpless look.
You don't understand. This is important, Alaya. I'll be there as soon as possible.
Before I can protest further, Lyle has already spun their heels and darted towards the doors, weaving in and out of the crowd. Taking a deep breath to steady myself, I turn my attention to Client Kylan, who has been frantically flipping through a pile of scrolls from his bag. Kylan, shall we go?
Go on without me. I need to find... I don't understand.
What? What are you talking about? Kylan mumbles under his breath as he continues looking at his scrolls, appearing to not even hear my question. Kylan, come on! He doesn't reply. Eyeing all the vassals, armed to the teeth, flooding out of the guild hall and rushing towards the town border, I let out a frustrated growl.
Damn it.
Suit yourself. I'm going to the front lines. Pulling my sword from its sheath, I join the rest of the soldiers, rushing out of the guild hall without a second glance backwards. Better save here. Pained cries and dying howls echo through the air, muffled by the blood pounding in my ear. Darting forward, I cut down a wraith about to swipe at a fallen soldier, and then he shoots me a grateful look before scrambling back to his feet. Panting from the exertion, I pause to brush the hair out of my eyes and grimace at the sticky blood I've accidentally smeared over my forehead. How long has it been? It feels like a decade has passed since the battle has begun. Aaliyah! I look up to see Averia, approaching me with an exhausted smile, blood spattered all over her armor. Averia, glad you're not hurt.
Where's Lyle? Aren't you...
Why is this music so loud here?
Where's Lyle? Surprised they aren't with you.
I can only shrug in response, turning to kick away a goblin that was trying to sneak up on me. In that case, watch my back and I'll watch yours. Of course. Throwing myself back into the midst of the fight with Averia by my side, my mind automatically voids itself of all thoughts but the battle. I go in through the practice motions of slashing and stabbing that almost feel like second nature to me now, cutting down the enemies in front of me, one by one. Eventually the hordes of creature begin to decrease in number, growing thinner and thinner. Slowly but surely, we're driving them back away from the town border. A deafening cheer erupts from the soldiers when the remaining creatures, having sensed their impending loss, turn tail and run back into the forest.
Yeah!
We did it! Averia throws down her sword, immediately collapsing to the ground, staring up at the sunset with a dazed smile. Stunned by the sudden end of battle, it takes a minute for me to process victory, and when I do, I sink to the ground with an exhausted sigh, letting my sword clatter next to me. We did it. We really did it. Too tired to speak, Averia can only give me a thumbs up in response, closing her eyes. The adrenaline slowly fades from my veins, and I'm suddenly aware of the throbbing pain in every part of my body, and the blood gushing from my shoulder. Ouch. Overwhelmed by the sudden fatigue and pain, I can only close my eyes, leaning my head against a nearby tree. I don't know how long we just remained there, trying to recover from the intense battle. But when I open my eyes again, there's a healer bent over me, a soft blue glow emitting from his hands as he tends to my wounds. Thank you.
Here, drink this too. It'll help you recover some of your energy.
He presses a bottle in my hand, and I take a greedy gulp, almost choking in my haste.
You should rest for a while before moving. Let the magic heal your wounds fully first.
Thanks. He nods in acknowledgement before moving on to Averia, repeating the same motions he just went through with me. As some of my energy returns to me, the fog begins to lift from my mind. This potion is pretty effective. I should tell Lyle to look into making some of these. Or maybe Kylan. He likes Lyle and Kylan. Did they make it to the battle? Are they hurt? Leaning my weight against my sword, I struggle to my feet and stumble towards the rest of the camp. Maybe I should go look for them. Right then, Averia lets out a pained cry, followed by a long torrent of furious words reprimanding the healer.
Ow, what the f—
My head jerks to Averia, concerned about her. I gotta check on Averia. Averia is injured and clearly squabbling with the healer, which is probably not the best course of action to take when you're exhausted, wounded soldier, at the healer's mercy. Knowing how much she disliked medics and her penchant for sarcasm, she's probably driving the healer up the wall and making him consider adding poison to her potion. I should check on her first. I'll look for Lyle and Kylan after. A few minutes of delay won't change anything. Well, they said they weren't even going to the battle, so shouldn't be worried. Turning back around, I hobble towards Averia, who is now leaning against a tree, arguing vehemently with the healer. I told you I'm fine. I don't need your potions, and my shoulder is not injured, so stop touching me. The exasperation is clear as day in the healer's voice. It's not injured anymore because I just relocated it. Just drink the potions. They'll help you go to sleep so you can recover sooner. I'm fine. I don't need your sleeping potions, and I don't need your medical attention. Averia, are you giving the healer a hard time? She looks up with a scowl and brushes the hair out of her eyes. Tell him I'm a fast natural healer. I don't need his potions. Averia, you're such a difficult patient. Here, let me try it. I'll get her to drink it. Sitting down next to Averia, I take the potion from the healer, who gives me a grateful look before leaving. Wink. Drink it. I refuse. It's an order. I'm of higher rank than you. Not in our party. Lyle's the leader, and I'll get them to ban you permanently from our parties if you don't obey me right now. Averia lets out an incredulous snort of laughter, snaking her head. That was pretty bad. You wouldn't do that. You need me in your party. Try me. I shove the potion towards her again, giving her my sternest glare. Averia looks between my face and the small bottle before taking the potion and downing it in one go. Oh, they are happy? Very. Almost immediately, the potion began to take effect, and Averia lets out a small yawn, her eyes half closing. I really hate these magical potions. I always feel so out of sorts. They'll help you heal. Rest, Averia. There's no reply from Averia, other than some soft snores drifting through the air. Ensuring that Averia is sound asleep, I give a satisfied nod before struggling to my feet again. She doesn't look asleep to me. Now that Averia is fine, I need to make sure Lyle and Kylan are fine as well. Once again, using my sword as my crutch, I begin to head for the camp of soldiers, gathering to celebrate our victory. Maybe they'll be there. Hey you! What did I say about not moving? Your legs are wobbling. Sit back down before you fall and injure yourself further. I feel bad for this healer. I gave him the best voice ever. I try to brush him off, but in my weakened state, unable to extricate myself from his surprisingly strong grasp. Push him off. No, I need to find someone. Whoever it is can't be in worse shape than you. You need to rest. I tried to protest, but the healer holds his hand out towards me, mumbling a few words under his breath. Almost instantly, I can feel a wave of sleepiness overcome me. I can barely manage a few strings of curses in his direction, making him chuckle before I once again collapse to the ground. Darkness envelops me, and I have no choice but to succumb to it. I can only hope they are all right. I think they're dead. Here, two brave beers for the brave warriors. The tavern keeper places the drinks we ordered on our table, and next to me, Averia beams in pride. Thanks! Looking as though she's about to burst from excitement, Averia turns to me with a wide grin, stretching from ear to ear. Just picturing that. Elias, sorry for suddenly asking you to meet me here on such short notice, but I have really amazing news.
Guess what I heard?
Tracing the patterns of the wooden table with my finger, I only give a half-hearted, questioning hum as response, but Airis doesn't seem to notice my lack of enthusiasm.
They're thinking of rewarding us with another medal of bravery, you and me, for how valiantly we defended the town in the front lines last time.
Is that so? That's great.
I know! Just saying, my medal better be bigger than yours, because I'm certain I contributed more than you.
What a bitch. Consumed by her excitement, Airis remains oblivious to my disheartened monotone voice and grabs her beer, taking large gulps with a satisfied sigh. Only when she notices that I have yet to touch my drink does she eye me in concern and give me a nudge in the side.
So, this looks like a bakery. This doesn't look like the guild hall that I was at earlier. Oops. It's kind of weird.
What's wrong, Aaliyah? Popping my head up on the table, I can only let out a small worried sigh. Airis' smile dims in understanding, and she sets down her drink on the table.
Worried about Lyle and Kylan?
Yeah.
Don't worry so much. I'm sure they'll be just fine.
I can't help but frown in disapproval at the unconcerned tone of her voice. I suddenly understand why others in the guild are so intimidated by Airis, not just because of her amazing combat skills and her high rank, but also because of a kind coldness and lack of empathy that occasionally shows. It's been a week since the battle, since we've heard from either of them. Okay, I can understand if you don't particularly care about Kylan, since you barely knew him. Lyle, though, has been our friend for ages. How can you not be worried about their disappearance? Airis' expression changes, almost imperceptibly, and she picks up her drink to take a long sip before replying. I'll follow her.
Lyle's one of the best mages in the guild. I trust that they can take care of themselves. When is the last time you've seen them return from a fight injured? Have they even died once?
Oh, so you can die and respawn in this? I can't help but scowl slightly at Airis' logic. Perhaps she's right, and I know my worries may be unfounded, but... Yes, you're right about that, but... Airis cuts me off in a firm voice, poking my arm to get my attention. No buts. There's nothing to worry about. Even if Lyle got into some sort of trouble, which I doubt they did, we vassals are immortal, remember? They'll revive here just fine. That's not true. Yes, they did put a resurrection spell on each of us when we joined the guild, but don't you remember what they said? The spell usually lasts around 10 years, but it can run out at any time. Any death can be our last one. Airis tilts her head at me, brows furrowing. At her apparent confusion, I can't help but be amused. She's usually so put together and bright that these rare moments of headedness are hilarious. Airheadedness. Of course, I wouldn't give up such a great opportunity to tease her. Airis, you were definitely told about this when you first got recruited. Everyone was. Did you forget already? Jeez. And you call me an empty-headed, impulsive idiot? Airis' face clouds over, but then she breaks out into such an easy, sassy smirk that I almost think I had imagined it.
No, of course I remember. I just think that it's silly.
Silly?
Do you really believe what they said?
I raise an eyebrow, in surprise at the implication of Airis' question. Do you not?
Of course not. It's complete bogus.
I fail to bite back a startled laugh at Airis' confident declaration. Why would you say that?
Think about it. It's been 10 years since the initial recruitment of guild members. There are over 1,000 vassals in the guild. If what they said is right, statistically speaking, surely the resurrection spell should have worn off on at least one person by now. Yet I've never heard of any vassal suffering a permanent death yet.
Having expected nothing more than a joke and a cheeky wink from Airis, I blink in surprise at her well-thought-out answer. Huh. There is some logic to what she said. Still, it's entirely too ridiculous to be true. Trust Averia to come up with these ideas. Perhaps this is partly why she is so unconcerned with the life and death of her comrades. It never made sense to me how such a loyal and lovely person as Averia could have such moments of apathy. But this would explain some of it. Not all of it, but at least some part of it. Is this another one of your conspiracy theories?
Hey, don't just dismiss it as a conspiracy theory. It's completely true. Do you not believe me?
No, not at all.
You know, if you're half as obedient to my commands as you are to the monarchy, we'd get along much better.
An incredulous giggle of amusement burst out of my mouth despite my bad mood earlier. First off, I think we get along perfectly fine right now. Secondly, just because you're of higher rank than me doesn't mean I need to follow your orders. Thirdly, what are you talking about? Averia's joking grin fades into a slightly more solemn expression, almost quizzical.
Well, you believe everything they tell you. Do you never question what they say?
Startled by her question, I give an uncomfortable chuckle and avert my gaze. That was pretty uncomfortable. I mean, I just don't think they would lie about the resurrection spell to us.
Why wouldn't they? By telling us this crap, they can keep us from going to reckless in battle and crazy in battles, and they probably lessen the trouble they would from the churches for misusing the gift of life from Mother Ionia.
Iona. I open my mouth to argue and tease her for her wild imagination, but I pause.
Surely it's just another crazy conspiracy theory from Averia. It doesn't make sense, does it?
Maybe. It doesn't really matter. No, it can't be true. Yeah, sure. Averia does raise an interesting point. I can see why the king would be tempted to lie to us about our immortality, even though that's honestly a terrible thing to do, and has great impact on every single one of us vassals. Seeing my hesitation, Averia gives a triumphant smirk.
See? It does all sound quite suspicious, doesn't it?
Amused, I shake my head at her, pushing away the doubts. Stop trying to convert me into a believer of your strange conspiracy theories. Averia pretends to be offended, but then flashes me a good-natured grin, her eyes dancing in merriment.
I'm just telling you the truth. Not my fault that you don't believe me. Well, either way, at least I cheered you up, didn't I? You have to admit my comforting skills are stellar.
Oh, that music change. If not for Averia's reminder, I probably would have forgotten how this whole topic came up in the first place. I'm almost surprised at how well Averia managed to distract me and keep the negative thoughts in my head at bay. Still, at the mention of why we were talking about revival and immortality in the first place, my worries come back to me. Averia notices the way my smile fades, and she presses her lips together, goes in for a kiss, looking somewhat exasperated.
Come on, you're such a worrywart. Don't worry about Lyle. I'm certain they're fine. Look, they're gonna turn up in a few days without so much as a scratch, and then I'll get to say, I told you so.
I hope so. Rolling her eyes at my muted response, Averia pushes my drink closer to me.
Focus on the positives. We're going to get medals for our contribution to the successful defense of the town. We should be drinking to celebrate.
Despite my best attempt, I can't muster up the same sort of enthusiasm Averia has, still troubled by my thoughts about Lyle and Kylan. No, I was actually planning to go look for Lyle again after this. It'd probably hinder my mission if I'm drunk, so I really should get going. I scramble to my feet, but Averia grabs my arm to stop me, tipping her head and my untouched drink at the table.
You've already looked for Lyle every other day this week. You're just wasting your time, Aaliyah. Lila will turn up eventually when they want to be found.
but Lyle's my best friend. I should...
You've already done everything you possibly can. You're just gonna put yourself in danger if you keep going into the forest to search for them. Have a drink with me instead. Mother knows you need it. You really need to relax a bit.
Averia grabs my glass of beer and holds it up to me. Giving me an expectant look, I slap it out of her hand.
What do you say?
Oh, I'm just gonna take the beer. Maybe Averia's right. She's gotta learn to chill out, you know? Maybe Averia's right. I've practically turned the forest upside down this week, so Lyle couldn't possibly be there still. Without any further leads, I'd just be wasting my time searching through the same places again and again. There's nothing I can do. I can only pray for Lyle's safe return, and hit them on the head with my sword when they do show up for making me fear for their life. With a sigh, I glance at Averia, who gives me an encouraging nod. All right, you win, but only if you pay for drinks tonight. Averia gives an incredulous snort of laughter. That was pretty bad. One hand flying to her hip. Both hands are there.
How about no, Missy? I'm already going to give you free counseling to soothe your emotional turmoil. You should be paying for the drinks to thank me, not the other way around.
Hey, you invited me for a drink and insisted on my staying to drink with you. Clearly, you should be the one to pay. Besides, you're the richer one out of the two of us. I'm just a poor, lowly ranked officer who barely makes enough to feed herself.
See, that's why I told you to sell Teddy to the circus. No need to spend money on feeding her, and you make a fortune selling a tamed teddy bear cub.
Almost choking on thin air, I began laughing in disbelief.
Ha ha.
You monster. I would never.
Then don't complain to me about your poorness. I have no sympathy for your financial woes.
Fine. In that case, I'll just leave then. Voice crack. I'm sure you don't desperately desire my company. Not at all. I get up from the table again, pretending to walk away. I've barely taken a step when Averia shouts for me to wait, and I turn to her expectantly. Averia grumbles under her breath before reluctantly nodding with an eye roll at my melodramatic act and shoving my drink into my hand.
Fine, fine, whatever. Just drink your beer before it gets even colder, woman.
After a moment of hesitation, I slide back into my seat and down the drink in one go, slamming the glass back onto the table. Oh. Even before the alcohol makes its way down to my stomach, I already feel better. Lighter, just from my banter with Averia.
There you go. You're so pretty when you smile genuinely without your eyes being shadowed by worries, Aaliyah.
I agree. That's hot. That's real hot. Startled by her sudden compliment, it takes me a moment before I remember to thank her, but by then, Averia has already moved on, almost as though the words had never left her mouth at all.
I challenge you to the guild's official drinking game. Whoever gets wasted first has to pay for the drinks.
Damn. Hey, I thought you already agreed to pay for my drinks tonight.
Oops, did I forget to mention that comes with a condition that you must beat me at the drinking game first?
You filthy liar. There's no real venom in my voice, and I can't help but grin at her in both exasperation and amusement.
What, scared you lose?
You did not just go there. Fine. You're on. I'm gonna kick her ass. Barking out a laugh. Man, I'm so bad at faking laughs. I waved the tavern keeper over to order more drinks, happy to be free from my worries for just one evening. Well, that was a nice little drinking session. It's Teddy. Come on, Teddy. Hurry up. Move those legs faster. You have 2 more legs than me. How can you be so much slower? I turn my head to flash a teasing grin at the bear cub trailing behind me, who immediately plops herself down on the ground at my words. Teddy, I said hurry up. not stop. She begins to lick her paw casually, laughter in her eyes.
That's you get for being rude to me.
Like you aren't eager to hear what news Averia has about Lyle for us. I know you miss them, even though you pretend not to. Teddy's ears twitch, but she merely bares her teeth at me in a mischievous grin. That's really mischievous. I'm pretty scared of that right there. I don't know what she's planning.
You can go on without me. I can't run so fast because I'm too full. Why did Averia decide so suddenly send a message right after lunch? Doesn't she know I need time to digest?
Your fault for stealing half of the food off my plate. Grinning, I nudge her fat belly with my foot gently, and she rolls over with a yelp, sending me an offended glare.
I said go! I'll meet you at the guild hall later. I just need to lie here for a bit or else I'm gonna puke all over you.
Still jogging in place in impatience, I think for a brief second before deciding to leave her behind. Okay, fine. I'll see you there in a bit. Don't make us wait too long. Immediately, I take off towards the guild hall, quickening my pace in my haste to hear about Lyle's safety from Averia. Alright, what kind of voice should I give this guy? Okay.
Watch where you're going!
Sorry. I can only shout behind me, too anxious to even pause and give the poor man I almost knocked over a proper apology. Well, he played a really big part in this story. I round the corner, a smile clouding my face at the sight of the familiar building looming in the distance. Almost there. Lyle must be safe. I'm sure they're fine, because otherwise Averia would have said something in her message to prepare me emotionally. Right. The creeping fear causes my footsteps to slow in hesitation, but then I shake the thoughts away and push myself onwards. I'm startled by the way the ground seems to move beneath my feet. What? I glanced around. He tells me that I'm apparently the only one experiencing the strangeness, and I quickly realize that only my world is spinning around me. Stumbling back against the wall in confusion, my hand flies to my forehead instinctively as my vision starts to go dark. At the edges of the blood begins to pound a steady rhythm in my head. I close my eyes, hoping to recover from this sudden bout of dizziness, but it only grows worse and worse. Teddy? Averia? Is anyone... I try to force the words out, but I'm starting to lose control of my tongue. The words flooding together like this haven't passed. A faint, pulsing pink light catches my attention. Driven by an inexplicable urge, my hand lifts of its own accord to touch it, but right before I can, everything fades to dark. That's where I'm going to end this game for right now. Let me save it. As usual, thanks to no one for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to switch to a different game.